What if life had real cheat codes and no one told you? Well, it does, and they're backed by actual science and psychology. In this video, you'll learn tiny, powerful tweaks to communicate better, build instant authority, boost your confidence, and make people like you, trust you, and remember you, all without them knowing why. Let's dive in. Cheat code number 1. Use people's names and be remembered. You step into the elevator. There's already a guy inside. Tall, tired, scrolling like his thumb's on autopilot. You've seen him before. Break room? Budget meeting? That soul-crushing Zoom call with 37 people and zero resolution? He glances up. Half a second of eye contact, then back to worshiping the blue glow of his phone like it holds the secrets of the universe. It's not, it's Instagram. Now, here's what 99% of people would do. Just stand there in awkward silence. Stare at the door. Pretend to be fascinated by the elevator buttons. Maybe throw in a nod so slight it barely qualifies as human interaction. But not you. You do something wild, something borderline revolutionary. You say, "Hey Tom, how's the project going?" Tom freezes. Screen dimensions. His eyebrows twitch. For a microsecond, something rewires behind his eyes. "Oh, hey, yeah, good. It's going good." And just like that, you're not random elevator human anymore. You're someone with a name. Someone who remembers his. What just happened? You unlocked a cheat code. Not in the elevator, in his brain. When someone hears their name, not man, bro, or dude, you bypass the social firewall. Their brain lights up like it got tagged in a group chat from 2007. The medial prefrontal cortex activates. That's the part in charge of identity, self-perception, and that little voice in your head that says, "Hey, that's me." Even if the rest of the conversation is forgettable, their brain logs you differently. This person sees me. You get filed in their brain's VIP section under people who actually matter. By using their name, you go from random background human to, I trust this person, and I'm not sure why. And no, it's not manipulation. You're not gaslighting Tom into giving you his lunch or his Netflix password. You're just doing something revolutionary in the 21st century that 99% of people are too lazy or distracted to do. Paying attention. Cheat code number 2. The power of pause, say less, win more. You're mid-conversation. Ideas flying back and forth like a tennis match. Then someone hits you with a question, a tough one. Everyone turns, all eyes on you. You feel the urge to fill the silence, the pressure to respond immediately. Say something clever, prove you're quick on your feet, but instead, you pause. 1 second. 2. Nothing. And in that tiny, awkward, glorious silence, the entire energy shifts. Eyebrows rise. People lean in. Suddenly, you're no longer reacting. You're processing. Even if inside you're buffering like a nervous search engine, on the outside, you look like you're planning 5 moves ahead. Because here's the cheat code. The brain assumes people who pause before speaking are either A, smarter, B, calmer, C, about to drop pure wisdom. Psychologists call this the cognitive pause bias. Yes, it's a real thing, and it means that even the tiniest silence can change how people perceive you. In conflict, it lowers the heat. In interviews, it radiates calm authority. In negotiations, it makes you harder to read and unforgettable. In a manipulation scenario, you're basically neo-dodging verbal bullets in slow motion. Why? Because people expect fast reactions. Instant answers, instant opinions, instant everything. But the pause says, "I'm not just reacting. I'm considering." So next time someone puts you on the spot, don't rush to fill the silence. Let it breathe. Let them wait. Let the pause speak for you. And it will say, "This person is in control." Cheat code number 3. The mirror technique. How to become instantly magnetic. You didn't even want to come tonight. And yet, here you are. Clutching a lukewarm drink at a party you nearly dodged. A friend swore it would be chill. They lied. You're surrounded by strangers laughing at inside jokes you weren't around to hear. Across the room, the cool crowd. Fast talkers, private laughs, like a sitcom you got dropped into halfway through. You hover, close enough to hear, far enough to not look desperate. This is where you deploy it. The mirror technique. You don't force your way in. You observe. One guy leans in when he talks. A girl flicks her wrist to make a point. Another ends every sentence with a question mark tone. You copy, just enough. Shift your weight when they do. Use the same hand to gesture. Match their tone, their pace. At first, you say almost nothing. You sink. Subtle. like background music. Then, the shift. They angle their bodies toward you. Their laughs start to include you. You're in. You didn't crash the party. You became the party. And they don't know why they like you, but their brain does. Humans are ancient machines running ancient software, hardwired to do one thing fast: find our tribe. Our brains are built to spot familiarity. People who move like us, sound like us, even breathe like us. Why? Because back then, no tribe meant no fire, no food, no safety, no tomorrow. Strangers? Dangerous? Tribe? Life. So today, when someone mirrors you, well, even a little, your brain lights up. Safe? Familiar? One of us. It's not manipulation, not trickery. It's survival code. Social camouflage at its finest. FBI negotiators use it. Top sales pros swear by it. Politicians polish it with smiles and handshakes. When done right, mirroring doesn't raise alarms. It raises trust. People don't just hear you, they feel understood. And that feeling, it's called belonging. Cheat code number 4. The 5-to-1 relationship rule no one talks about. The math of staying close. It's late afternoon. You're in the kitchen. 2 mugs on the counter, yours and theirs. There's a plate in the sink. Not yours. Not washed, again. You say something. Not harsh. Not loud. Just tired. They reply. Short. Clipped. The kind of sentence that ends in silence. You feel it. That tiny shift in the air. The room cools by 1 emotional degree. No explosion, no drama, just a glitch. Barely noticeable, but real. What just happened? You slipped out of balance. You broke the ratio. Here's what most people don't know. Every relationship runs on invisible math. The magic number? 5-to-1. For every negative interaction, you need 5 positive ones just to break even. An eye roll, a sigh, a passive-aggressive comment is an emotional deduction. Laughter, a gentle touch, or making their breakfast the way they like it without being asked. That's currency. This isn't some feel-good theory. It's actual research. Psychologists like Dr. John Gottman spent decades studying couples, measuring what makes some last and others implode. The difference wasn't how well they communicated. It was how well they repaired and recovered, how often they made deposits in a shared emotional bank account. Not grand gestures, micro moments. You don't need a violin serenade. You just need to notice when they walk in the room. Ask how the meeting went. Say, I love how your brain works. Not because it's a holiday, just because it's Tuesday. If you like these real-life cheat codes so far, hit subscribe, like, and drop a comment. Or keep playing life on hard mode. Cheat code number 5. The yes ladder. The shortcut to instant persuasion. You're standing in a museum. Not one of those massive tourist traps where the crowd moves like a slow river. This one's quieter. Marble floors, dim lights. The kind of place where time slows down and every footstep feels like it matters. You've been lingering in front of the Impressionist wing for 10 minutes pretending to study brushstrokes. But really, you're just watching them. The museum guide at the far side of the room. You want to ask them something, not small talk, not where's the restroom, or what time do you close. You want to ask them out. But asking that directly feels like sprinting across a frozen lake without knowing if the ice will hold. So instead, you open with something small. Hey, can I ask you something? They turn. Sure. First, yes. And here's the thing most people miss. Once someone says yes, even to something meaningless, their brain starts building a rhythm. A small yes opens a door, and they are more likely to say yes again. It's not magic. It's psychology. You've worked here a while, right? Another smile. Another yeah. The mind likes to keep doors open once they're cracked. So you probably know all the hidden gems most visitors miss? A chuckle. Definitely. And now the final line comes easy, like a glowing button waiting for you to press it. You smile. Would you want to grab coffee sometime? Another yes. This one is earned. Not just because of you, but because you walked them there. Step by step through a mental hallway of affirmations. This is called the yes ladder. It is basically tricking the brain into playing follow the leader. You get someone to say yes to tiny, harmless stuff first, and because humans are weird little consistency addicts, they start thinking, well, I've already agreed to this. I might as well keep going. Before you know it, they're saying yes to coffee, projects, or joining your zombie apocalypse team. It's not hypnosis, it's psychology, and maybe a tiny bit of mind hacking. Each yes is a warm-up that rewrites the conversation in your favor, one yes at a time. Salespeople use it. Negotiators use it. Politicians use it. Because once someone starts agreeing with you, it gets harder to break that rhythm. The brain wants to stay consistent, and that consistency is a cheat code for persuasion. Cheat code number 6, dressing one level higher. Wear authority before you speak it. You're walking into a job interview. White walls. Black chairs lined up like they're waiting for something exciting to happen. Overhead, a fluorescent light hums like it's losing the will to live. At the front desk, a man stares at his screen like it owes him rent. He glances up, gives you half a second, then looks away. You're background noise until he sees your shoes. Polished, not just clean, intentional. His eyes rise. The blazer, the fit, the quiet confidence in your stride. He straightens up. Subtle but real. Now he's paying attention. You haven't said a single word, but the system already clocked you. You sent a signal. Business casual would have done the job, but you dressed one level higher, not to show off or outshine, but to speak silently. To say something subtle but primal. I don't belong at this level. I operate above it. And here's the trick. People notice, even when they don't realize they're noticing. They don't know why they trust you more, but they do. Because deep down, our brains still run on caveman code. Visual input equals social judgment. And your clothes? They're data. Fabric sends a signal. Fit implies discipline. Finish suggests control. You're not shouting confidence. You're wearing it. And before your voice even hits the air, the room has already filled in the blanks. Probably capable. Probably sharp. Maybe even the best we'll see today. And all you did was choose your armor carefully. No loud branding. No designer labels screaming for attention. Just clean, deliberate, elevated choices. You didn't dress to impress. You dressed to signal command. And it worked. Cheat code number 7. The confidence loop. How to trick your brain into believing you're a legend. You're standing outside a door. A big one. Behind it, your interview. Your audition. Your please don't sweat through your shirt moment. Your stomach's doing origami. Your palms? A slip and slide. Your heartbeat? Auditioning for stomp. Every cell in your body is chanting the same advice. Abort. Evacuate. Fake appendicitis and run. But instead, you straighten your back. You roll your shoulders like you own the hallway. You plant your feet like you mean it, and you smile. Not a twitchy, please like me smile. A precision-engineered, I've already won grin. And just like that, the air shifts. Something clicks. They say confidence is a feeling. Something you either have or don't. That's cute. But it's also wrong. Confidence doesn't start in your mind. It starts in your body. Your posture, your breath, your face. When you stand tall, slow your voice. Hold eye contact a fraction longer than feels socially legal. Your brain gets confused. It sees the swagger and thinks, wait, are we confident now? Guess we are. So it adjusts. Hormones rebalance. Nerves chill. Focus sharpens. You didn't wait for confidence to show up. You acted like it was already there. And your brain, loyal as ever, followed your lead. That's the loop. Body leads. Mind obeys. Game on. And yes, the loop works both ways. If you shrink your posture, lower your voice, avoid eye contact, your brain rewrites the script from confidence to hesitation, from action to retreat, from I got this to maybe I shouldn't be here. In psychology, this is called embodied cognition. The idea that your body doesn't just reflect your mental state, it shapes it. And there's data to back it up. In a 2010 study, psychologist Amy Cuddy found that holding power poses for just 2 minutes led to higher testosterone, hello confidence, lower cortisol, goodbye stress. And people actually felt more powerful. You don't need hours of mindset prep. You need 2 minutes and a spine. Because the truth? The game was never about being confident. It was always about acting like you are, until your brain catches up. Cheat code number 8, 90-minute sleep cycles. Sleep smarter, not longer. You crash at midnight, eyes shut, brain fried, phone still glowing like a tiny sun on your nightstand. Then the alarm hits, like a brick to the face, and it feels like your body's rebooting in safe mode. You're conscious, but barely. Brain, scrambled. Body, question mark. You check the clock. 8 full hours. So why do you feel like your pillow tried to assassinate you? Simple. You woke up in the middle of a sleep cycle. Because sleep isn't just asleep or awake. It's a loop, a rhythm, a system. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes. Light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. Then it resets, again and again. But if you wake up mid-cycle, you're yanking yourself out of REM like pulling a USB mid-transfer. The system wasn't ready. The file didn't finish saving, so you wake up groggy, foggy. Your brain's still booting in the background, but if you time it right, if you wake up at the end of a full 90-minute loop, you're golden. You wake up clean, aligned, almost suspicious of how not dead you feel. So forget the 8-hour rule. Sleep in multiples of 90 minutes instead. 6 hours, 7.5 hours, 9 hours. Because it's not just how long you sleep, it's when you wake up. Complete the cycle. Win the morning. Cheat code unlocked. Once you start using these cheat codes, everything shifts. You're not reacting. You're reading the room. Not chasing, positioning. Not hoping, executing. You move differently. It's not luck. It's not magic. It's code. And now, you've got the access key. If you're ready for more real-life cheat codes, hit subscribe, drop a like, and tell me in the comments which one you're using first and why.